Hey YouTube, it's Seth McDonald. I am back with another top video today. I've been doing some training outside. It's been nice out. It's been a beautiful out this weekend. No cold weather or nothing. So I've been doing a lot of training outside, as you can see in my recent videos. Um, right now, I'm on a book called The Code of the Samurai, the Bushido, The Soul of Japan. And the book looks like this. It's a hard black cover. Um, but I'm gonna read today a little bit, like a little bit of a chapter of it, and I'm gonna try to read it up to the point where I'm at in this book as of right now, but not every video of Sunday. I'm gonna try to at least read a little bit of a book to you guys. That way, um, you can kind of get a warrior's philosophy on my channel on what I read, because that's what I read up on anyway. Um, Here we go. Let's see here. Bushido, Chapter 1. Bushido as an ethical system. Shiver, chivalry is a flower no less than indigenous to the soil of Japan than its emblem, the cherry blossom, nor is it dried up specimen of an inadequate virtue preserved in the herbarium of our history. It is still a living object of power and beauty among us, and if it assumes no attainable shape or form, and none the less, since the moral atmosphere makes us unaware that we are still under its potent spell. The condition of society which brought forth and nourished it having long disappeared, but those far off stars which once were and are not still continue to shed their rays upon us. So the light of chivalry, which was a child of feudalism, still illuminates our moral reflect upon the subject in the language of Burke of who uttered a well-known, touching eulogy over the neglected beard of its European prototype. It urges a sad effect of information concerning the Far East when erudite scholar Dr. George Miller did not hesitate to affirm the chivalry, excuse me, or any similar institution has never existed either among the nations antiquity or among the modern Orientals, such as ignorance, however, as simply as possible as the third edition of the Good Doctors. Work appeared the same year the Commodore Perry was knocking at the portals of our exclusivism more than a decade later, about the time that our feudalism was in the last throes of existence. Karl Marx, writing his Das Capital, called the attention of his readers to the peculiar advantage of studying the social and political institution of feudal Japan. Feudalism, as then to be seen in living form only in Japan. I would likewise invite the Western historical and ethical student to study chivalry in Japan of the present as enticing as is the historical disquisition on the comparison between European and Japanese feudal and chivalry is not purpose of this paper. Do not to enter into the link may attempt as rather to relate firstly the origin and sources of our chivalry, secondly its character and teaching, thirdly its the influence among the masses, and fourthly the community and performance of its influence of these several points. The first will be only brief and cursory, or else I should have to take my readers to the devious past of our national history. The second will be dwell upon a greater length as being most likely to interest students of international ethics and comparative ethology and our ways of thought and action. The rest will be dealt with the calories. The Japanese word which I have roughly rendered chivalry is in an original more expressive than horsemanship. Bushido means literally military knight's way. The ways of which fighting those should observe in their daily life as well as in their vacation and words of precepts of knighthood, the noblest oblige of the warrior class, having thus given its literal significance, I may be allowed henceforth to use the word in the original use of the original term is advisable. For this reason that a teaching so circumscribed and engendering a cast of mind and characters so peculiar to so locomuscular the badge of the singularity of its face. And some words have a national timbre so expressive of race, characteristic that the best of translators can do them, but scant justice, not to say positive injustice ingredients. You can prove by translation what a term removes signifies or who does not feel the difference between the two words. Verbally so closely allied as the English gentleman and French gentleman. Bushido then coded a moral principle which the knights were required or instructed to observe is not written code at best consists of a few maximum handles down from mouth to mouth, or coming from the pen of some well-known warrior or servant. More frequently is the code unuttered and unwritten, possessing all the more powerful sanction. A veritable deed in a law written on the plastic tablets of the heart. It was founded not on the creation of the one brain, however, it were not on the life of a single personage, however renowned it was the organic growth. Of decades and century military career, it perhaps fills the same position in history. Ethics of the English Constitution does in political history, yet it has had nothing to compare with Magna Carta of Habeas Corpus Act. True, and early in the 17th century, military statutes, Bukato, were promulgated, but their 13 short articles were taken up mostly with emergence castles, leagues, etc. Tactic regulations were but meagerly touched upon. We cannot therefore point out any definite time, place, and say, "Here is a fountain he." Only it attains consciousness in the feudal age. Its origin and present to time may be identified with feudalism, but feudalism is itself is woven of many threads. The Bushido shares is integrate nature and as in England, the political institution of feudal may be said to date from the Norman conquest. So we may say that in Japan it rises, simulates with the ascendancy of Yuramoto late in the 12th century. As however, in England we find the social elements of feudal far back in the period of previous to William the Conqueror. So too the germs of feudalism in Japan have been long existed before the period I have mentioned. Again, in Japan as in Europe, when the feudalism was formally inaugurated, the professional class of warriors naturally came into prominence. These were known as samurai, meaning literally, like the Old English knight, niche, knight, guards of attendants resembling in character the soldiery who Caesar mentions as existing in Aquitania or the Comitate, who, according to Tatius, followed Germanic chief in his time, or take a still later peril the Millelites Medai that one reads about in the history of medieval reads about in medieval history in the history of medieval European essential Japanese sword buki or bushi fighting knights was also adopted in common use. They were a privileged class and must originally have been a rough breed who made fighting their vocation. This class was naturally recruited in a long period of constant warfare. From the minimalist and the most adventurous, all the while the process of eliminating went. On the timid and the feeble being sorted out, and only a rude race, all missing with brutish strength. To borrow a immersion phrase, surviving to form families in the ranks of the samurai, coming to profess great honor and great privileges, and the correspondingly great responsibilities. They soon felt the need of common standard of behavior, especially as they were always the be little liquor and putting belong to two different clans, just a physical limit and competition among themselves by professional courtesy, just as all lawyers sit in the courts of honor. In cases of violated etiquette, some must also orders possess some resort for final judgment on the misdemeanors. Fair play identified what fertile germs of morality lie in the primitive sense of savagery in childhood. It is not the root of all military and civ- we smile as if we had outgrown it. At the boyish desire of the small Britisher Tom Brown to leave behind him the name of a fellow who does, who never bullied a little boy or turned his back on a big one, and yet who does not know that this desire is the cornerstone of which moral structures of mighty dimensions can be reared. I'd not go even so far as to say that the gentleness of most peace loving religion adores the aspiration, the desire of times is the basis on which the generation, the greatness of England is largely built, and it will not take us long to discover that the Bushido does not stand on a lesser pedestal. It fighting in itself, but it is offensive and defenses of Quakers rightly testify brutal and wrong. We can still say with blessing we know from the following of our virtues spurning sneaks and cowards are epithets of the words of opium to healthy, simple nature's child begins life with those notions, knighthood also, but life grows longer. Its relations may cited the early phase seeks sanction from higher authority and more rational sources for its own justification, satisfaction, and development. If military interests had operated alone with a higher moral support, how for short chivalry would the ideal of knighthood have fallen? In Europe's Christianity and treated with conscience convenient to chivalry, infused it nevertheless with spiritual data, religion, or glory were the results of a perfect Christian knight, says Lamartine. In Japan, there were several sources of Bushido. There you have it. A warrior's philosophy of the samurai code, the first chapter. What he talks about, and this is that basically when what my comes sense on it is Bushido. It's a way of life, a way of surviving. Um, Sticking with your normal routine, your daily practice, your daily chores, being respectful toward one others. That's what I'm getting at in the first chapter. Even though it talks about from not backing down from a fight, or if somebody bullies you or whatever, it's just to stand up to the person and never back down. And this, and but number one rule is to always turn around and talk your way out of it first. Before you get into any fights. But when you end up doing, if somebody ever tries to hurt you in any other way, best thing is to do is try to avoid the fight if you can. If not, if you get back into corner, then you have no way out. Then it's best to fight. But the Bushido Code on the first chapter, the way I understood it, is saying never turn down a fight or never back down from a bully. It's saying you turn down a fight, but you never back down to a bully. But stand up for what you believe in as a person. And that's the thing, with people today, most people are afraid to basically say, well, I want to be myself. Most people are afraid to be themselves because they're afraid of being judged on who they are and what they're about. I'm not afraid on who I'm about. Just be yourself, be who you are, and do your normal routine day in and day out. And it's okay to mix it up once in a while if you want to do something different. But just be yourself, be who you are. People make fun of you, oh well, then they're not your true friends. You'll eventually have one good friend out of that group that don't make fun of you, that would actually stand up for you. But 9 out of 10 is that friend ain't gonna be there, and you're gonna end up um, basically end up being, you know, you don't want to end up being bullied and stuff like that, and that's the thing, and you just don't. And to stand up for what you believe in to the bully and say, hey, if you're a kid in school, or if you're going through hard times in school, or you know, number one is to always respect your teachers. Um, if they Even if they give you homework, one reason why they're giving you homework is to succeed in life, to have an education, instead of going out there doing crime and causing trouble. Um, that's the number one thing about teachers today. That's how come we wouldn't have books to read. It's because they're trying to teach us to have knowledge. They're trying to teach us to be a better person than what we are, to gain on what we know. We must learn to strive as a better person and to be ourselves and to help others. And that's my moral aspects of the first chapter of Code of the Samurai Bushido, the Soul of Japan. So I will talk to y'all later. Seth McDonald signing out. Train hard, train smart. Get off your phones, get off your Xbox, and PlayStation 4s, whatever. Just be yourself, and God bless you. And have a beautiful Sunday, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.